Welcome, useful content community. Today we'll be talking about how to create content that inspires people to engage with our special guest, viral content specialist, RC Clark.
Broadcasting live from Relate Studios in Trinidad and Tobago, it's the Useful Content Creation Show with your host, Juma Bannister.
Hello, everyone. This is a Useful Content Creation Show where business owners and marketing professionals come to learn how to create and use useful content so that they can build better relationships with their employees and their clients. My name is Juma Bannister. I am your host, and I'm happy to be here with you. And I'm even happier to have with us today and to introduce our guest, RC Clark. Welcome to the show, RC.
Thanks, Juma. Happy to be here. Good night. It's late for us, so we're really doing work today.
Yeah. It's pretty late. You're an hour ahead of me, and it's 10:30 where you are. It's 9:30 where I am. So it's really a late night show today. And for those who are in the comments, let me say welcome to you. Remember, we are the Useful Content Community. We own the bulb emoji. So throw your bulbs up if you're down in the comments and drop your hashtag UCC Live. And if you're here on the replay, drop your hashtag UCC Replay. So, RC, let's jump right into the conversation. So please tell the people who you are, and what you do.
RC Clark. I am the founder of Rebel Signals Media, which is my media company umbrella. And right now I'm a coach at Rebel Code Coaching. And essentially I help entrepreneurs and small business owners create content that connects with people and converts to business. So one of the most difficult parts of content creation, especially if you're a coach, is, okay, how do I create something that authentically connects with people, but also brings them into my world? It actually converts to clients, like converts into sales, because there's a lot of people putting out a lot of content and it's like, oh, it's all nice and it's so easy, but am I just wasting my time here? Is this actually doing anything for me? So that's what I specialize in, helping people create content that makes people act, from the heart, not in a salesy, lame way, but in a way that they want to, they feel inspired to.
Right, so you're not one of those people who goes into DMs and pitches people right after they connect type of way.
No, but I am very good in the DMs too. I don't have any hate for the DMs. There's a great way to approach people that I know too. Especially when I wasn't relying so much on content. You gotta put yourself out there and you gotta connect with people. Not salesy pitch after the first connection. No, but I like to show some love for the DMs too. There's a good way to do it.
Right. All right. Excellent. It's glad to know that we're safe. Let me just throw Alex up here. Alex, it's so interesting that you should mention this. Alex said, do you put this out as a podcast? If not, we're going to have words. Alex is supposed to be the guest on our show next week. And he's going to be a kind of the experiment number 2 where we do more practical things on the show. So thank you for being in the comments, Alex, and for reminding us not to pitch slap people when you jump into the comments. Yeah, so we'll talk about that too next week, Alex. That's something we'll talk about that. But what is okay, let me ask you the big question. What makes your content useful, RC?
If it makes you act, if it makes you move, if it makes you do something more than scroll past, stop, read, do nothing. Like, I want to see content that makes me want to, create some kind of emotion in me, maybe that makes me want to talk to this person, to engage, to drop a comment, to share my opinion so that other people can connect with me, so I can have a conversation, to go deeper into this creator's world. If they have an offer, if they have a workshop, if they have a program, something they're doing, useful content to me is something that I can consume, and then, it betters my life and makes me actually move, because there's so much content, there's so much stuff. And what's the difference between useful and not? Probably something that makes you, that connects, that makes you move. I can't hear you, Juma.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. So the content must push you to take a very specific action. Was that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, specific. I guess the more specific, the better, and that's in the hands of the creator. But it can be non-specific. I mean, I think with content, there's the biggest thing that people miss is this nurturing idea. A lot of people post content in silos, like content, and none of it connects and none of it relates. So it's like, okay, you see stuff, maybe you see it even every day, multiple times a day, and it hits you, but where is it actually taking you? So what I do and what I teach people to do is say, like, hey, let's have a point. Let's have like a big point here, a point B. Let's have something that we're bringing people to, like a live show, like maybe a product that you're launching, a meetup event, something. Like, let's create content that's going to be really useful and move people along the line so that you have consistent offers. Like maybe every 2 weeks, every month, you have some kind of big offer that you're leading people to so that you can help them get to the next step. And then also that's really it. It's like bring people to the next step. That's what they want. They want to go deeper so that they can learn more. You can't change someone's life in one piece of content. We gotta bring them deeper into things, the people who are really committed to you and to your ideas. So let's figure out how to nurture them along, build them up over time, and help them out, like really help them out the way we can.
Okay, great. So I guess you've already started kind of going down this particular road, but let me remind the people of what we're talking about this evening. We're talking about how to create content that inspires people to engage. And so can you kind of walk us through the process of, first of all, what does that mean? And then what is kind of like the process of you doing that, creating content that inspires people to engage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, engage is the conversation. So social media is all about talking. It's about connecting with people. It's about having conversations that make each other better. Especially on LinkedIn, it's about people in businesses that are connecting with other businesses so that you can do more good in the world, help more people. And that can't happen unless you provoke some kind of engagement, some kind of conversation, or some kind of next step. The way I see social is it's like window shopping. You're walking down Fifth Avenue in New York, and content is all these different windows. And you're looking, okay, a piece of content, a post is like a window. You're going to see one and it's going to be attractive. What's the one that you want to walk into? Well, yeah, you got to have something that's there, that's emotionally engaging, that brings you in. And then you want to go into that store and then see if you can, if the stuff inside is what you really want. So I think the best way to do that is through story. Through story, through copywriting. There's a kind of process that I teach all my clients. It's called creating a story leader post. So it's basically just creating a kind of post that connects personally with your audience, shows your authority, shows leadership, and then inspires someone to engage and reach out to you. And it's not a different formula. It's a formula that's been repeated in story for years and years. I mean, honestly, I was just thinking about us, and a story leader post could go something like this. It's like, okay, Juma, you've got all your red over here, and I'm blue over here. So it's like there's this kind of contrast. I think about our styles too in creating content. So when you create content, so how can you be authentic in your content? And how can you create more authentic content? Well, I was just on a show with this really cool guy named Juma the other day, and we were on there, and I noticed that all of his stuff was red and all my stuff was blue. And it got me thinking about, we have different styles of the way that we create. Juma, he seems more like analytical and technical, and he's really good at breaking things down and giving people like step by step exactly how to do stuff so they can take action to it. And me, I feel like I'm more on the the outer side. Like I speak more philosophy and more kind of poetry, and I'm more just kind of emotionally sparking people in that way with story. And it got me thinking, well, how can you be most authentic? Maybe the first thing that you have to do is really identify what type of creator that you are. And once you identify what type of creator that you are, you're going to be able to connect with people better than you ever have. People are actually going to start engaging with your posts. Every time you post, people are actually going to start reaching out to you because the right people are going to be able to connect with you, connect with your authenticity. Now there's a workshop I have coming up on Friday where I'm going to actually teach this process of how you can best identify what type of creator that you are, and I'm going to give you some action steps that you can take to become that kind of person. If that's something you want to see, say yes in the comments. So that's like a story leader style post.
Right. Oh, that was a lot. So yeah, that was a lot. Let me just, before I ask you another question, let me just say hello to Roberta, who is very faithful, always turns up on our show every single week. And Roberta is from Victoria, Canada, not Alberta. They're next door to each other, not the same place. Hi, Roberta. Good to see you.
It's a beautiful place. Victoria is beautiful.
Oh, you've been there. Okay.
I used to live in Seattle. Victoria is just right up north. Yeah.
Oh, just a drive across the border. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool, man. Cool beans. And Alex St. Juma relates. And of course we have Garen. Oh, his place is really bright now. Thank you so much for all those bulbs, Garen. Thank you for illuminating the place. I love that. All right. So so you said a few key things. Was it called a story leader? That's what you said?
Yeah.
All right. So what determines if someone can create content like a story leader? Is it that they have to follow? Because you kind of outlined a bit of a process just now, even though you said you're more leaning into the more of the philosophical parts of it, the more emotional parts of it. But it sounds like there is a process. How can someone? What does someone have to do? Explain that process for me in order to come up with these things, like just like the first part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it definitely has two sides. It has the mindset side and it has the technical side. So, but the first is being in a storyteller's mindset. It's that looking at the world and just seeing yourself as a storyteller, recording things that happen, different situations. You're a meditation coach and someone cuts you off in traffic, and then you remembered this, and then you're going to use that experience to write about a meditation technique that you use to keep yourself chill. You're just now looking at the world through these eyes of how can I relate what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing to my niche, to my specialty. You know, we have to be able, like, because I can take anything. You know, there's a million things in this room, and I can relate it to content and how you can, you know, use how you can create better content by, like, you know, my microwave and my tapestry over here or whatever. So it's just having this practice of going through the world and recording stories that happen, you know, things that are funny or that are interesting, and then using that for content, because we all know that story hooks people. Everyone loves stories. We spend billions and billions, the most money on anything on stories. Mm-hmm. So first you get in that mindset. And then there's more or less technical ways to describe the process of this story leader, this copywriting style post. But essentially you have your hook, you have your headline, and the purpose of the headline is to get someone to go to the next line. So typically it's something, a curiosity. I love to just free write, and then I'll find in the middle of my post will be something. It'll be like, I'll use a line in the middle of what I wrote and I'll put it at the top, because it's like someone's entering the story in the middle of the story. So then they read it and then they get curious and they start to read. So that's a favorite thing I to do. There's the how-to stuff, you know, all those things. But basically, like, what's going to make someone stop and go to the next? You're going to describe your problem. So you're going to have your avatar. You got to get super specific. This is a huge problem that people don't get with content that they don't do. Maybe they get it, but they don't do. But you got to think, like, literally what this person or prospect is going through in their day-to-day life, and this problem that you can address, this issue you can address with your post. It's not just, do you want to have more confidence? It's maybe you're a mid-level manager in corporate, and you wish that you were the person in the meeting that, instead of like instead of Joey there raising his hand to speak, like you wish that you were the person that raised their hand in the meeting that could speak up their ideas so that they could get that raise, or so that they could be the one that's seen as the leader. So it's like, it's not just how do you have more confidence, it's do you want to have more confidence so that you can, you speak up more in meetings like these other people or something like that. So you're solving this problem, and then you're painting the picture with details. You're saying all the painting the picture of what it's like to be in that meeting, what other people are like, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. And then you're saying, okay, here's the solution. The problem goes to the solution is to do this. Well, you got to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Change your mindset solution. So now there's this part called the mechanism. So what is the mechanism is like in superhero movies like Avengers, there's like the Infinity Ring. The Infinity Ring is the thing that you can use to change the world, to bend reality, and all of those things. So you as a creator that's trying to make someone move in your content, you have a mechanism. It's your special thing. It's your special process that they can use to change their mindset. Because we don't want to just say like, oh, you should just try meditating more. Because then someone's going to go on YouTube and they're just going to look up meditation, and they're going to be like, why do I reach out to you? It's your special process. You have a way you work with clients. So you're going to use that mechanism, and that's the way to do it. And then you describe the desired outcomes. You say, these are all the things that happen, once you're, sorry, I know we're cutting out a little bit, but can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So wrapping this up, there's so many things in this, but like basically you gotta really paint the picture for people and describe the outcomes of what it looks like to have that confidence in that meeting, to raise your hand, to speak up in the way it feels, and how you can have more freedom in your life because you do that, and how you can have more status in your life because you do that, how you can probably have more vacations and freedom because you have a better job, or how you'll be able to take care of your family more. You'll be respected more by your kids because you have that confidence. Like you get to that level of desired outcome. Then you call someone to action, and you're like, okay, I'm going to call you to action. I'm going to have a workshop. I'm going to have a program or whatever, but so here's one last thing about this is people, they fall into this DM me trap where they just get to the end and they say, DM me if you want to hear more. It's not very compelling. Why would I want to get on a call with you? I want to risk 30 to 60 minutes of my time to be on a call with you. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a sales call, discovery call. I don't even know if I like you that much. So in your calls to action, you really want to give someone something tangible. Like you're going to show them a technique, you're going to show them a process, and it's going to take a lot of time. It'll take 15 minutes to learn. And that are just a couple elements for call to action that's going to get someone to be like, okay, I'll risk 15 minutes of my time to learn how to be more confident so that I can be this kind of person that I want to be. So yeah, those are essentially the elements, and you just repeat this process. Repeat the story, painting the picture, calling to action. And you can do that as much as you want.
Right. And when you let me just say hello to Jacob. Thank you, Jacob, for jumping in the comments. Good to see you. I know Jacob was no, it wasn't you, it was Randy. Yeah, Jacob, I saw you recently on LinkedIn talking about different things. Good to see you, Jacob. So if someone comes to you and they want to be able to sell more, is there a process you take them through before that to determine whether or not your approach could work for them?
Well, I think in general, the people who can use this process best are like entrepreneurial, solopreneurial, small business owner type of people, like people who can really like get personal, because especially this style is very like personal, with your personal stories and your personal opinions and just personal expression for content. And especially it works especially well for coaches, because coaches are really, especially transformational coaches. Like I work best with people who help people, because maybe it's like just me too, but just being able to write in this kind of storytelling way that that connects and transforms on that level. I mean, it can definitely be applied, but I just can't necessarily see like a big business using this model so much, like because it has to be a personal story. I can't be like Apple and be like, hey, I'm Apple, and I was walking down the street the other day and an apple fell from the tree, and all of a sudden I had this inspiration about, about Newton or something. So probably best for a solopreneur, small business owner, personal kind of person.
Yeah, it seems like and man, this is just me hearing you talking about it now. It seems like the process that you're describing will benefit like best, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know who you've worked with, but it seems like the people will benefit are people who are looking to encourage other people to be their best. It's almost like they're going to take, there's a structure for them to take and say, this is how you achieve the thing you want to achieve. This is how you get to the place. So you are giving them a system so that they can go through. So like if somebody has the idea that they have a lot of stuff that they know or a lot of things that they want to say to a particular group of people, but they don't know how to structure that thing, it's almost like what you're saying will give them the pattern or the blueprint to be able to communicate those things to the people that they want to, in order to get like specific results out of it. Is that what, if I can put it in a nutshell, is that what it tries to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I work with a lot of executive coaches, life coaches, career coaches, like people on that kind of personal development level is where I've been able to connect the best with, and I think works the best with.
Right. So you definitely, that would kind of be in the space of your well, people say the ideal client, or the people who you would like to work with. It's kind of in your client persona falls into that kind of space. Yes.
Yeah, and because that's who I am, and that's how everyone should be too. Like I've tried to help people that I don't know very much about their industry, and like it can do it. It takes a lot more research and a lot more like, okay, we got to figure out exactly what's going on with even like your industry and like learning the terminology. And that's what a good marketer does. A good copywriter does. Like they can go and they know how to do the research and they know how to speak the language of the client that they're working with. And that's good, but really my mission, my overall mission is to help. It really involves people, and what I know how to do best. My background is in personal development and spirituality and business and marketing. So those kind of people that I can help, that's who I can help the best. And that's how I feel like everyone else should be. I used to feel like, oh, I can help everyone. I should be good enough to help everyone and do all, this kind of thing. But I thought, I just want to have my groove, work with people I really enjoy, and make a deep impact as opposed to a broad kind of surface level impact.
Yeah, I get that. And I think it's very important that everyone is very clear as to who they serve and then create the content that specifically targets those people. Because it sounds like you have a specific target. And it's very important to be able to target those people. Let's jump back to story a little bit, because I was curious. So one of the things I've noticed in creating content, one of the things I always advise people to do in order to make their content more engaging and for people to watch it to the end, is to communicate the thing in the form of a story. From where I am locally, I know the people here, and I'm in Trinidad and Tobago. I know the people here. One of the big things with people here is not just telling the story, but telling relatable stories, telling stories they can see themselves inside of. Have you found that the people you've worked with in training them to tell stories, that you have had to also train them to make the story relatable to the people who they're talking to?
Yeah, and that's the hardest part. It's the easiest and the hardest part, because on the one hand, you can, the best testimonial is your own testimonial. It's your experience. The best people that you can most easily help are the ones that are going through the same journey that you're on, that are behind you. If you're an executive coach who quit to become an entrepreneur, you're going to be working with other people who are in corporate world who don't like it and want to start their own kind of thing. So you can tell that you can tell that story really easily. But the really difficult part is to think, I'm not just trying to start, I'm not just in corporate and I hate it, trying to start a business. It's like telling the story is really getting down to the fundamentals of human desire, of what do people really want when you're telling a story about the things that they that they want to achieve in life. It's like, they want to have confidence, like, they want to have a better job, but like really people, like, you got to tell people that they'll be able to have more freedom of their time, more status, higher status in the eyes of others, more belonging from the tribe, more acceptance from other people, more love from their family, the ability to take care of their families. And there's just these like basic kind of human desires that I think a lot of people overlook when they're writing copy or they're telling stories, and they stay very kind of like surface level, where maybe on the one hand, you're just talking about, okay, you're gonna have more freedom, you're gonna have more time, you're gonna have more money. That seems like, oh, isn't that basic? Or see, like why are we talking about those things? But when you put it into the context of the person, of your avatar, you put it in the context of that that woman who's been held down, she feels like she's stuck and she needs to, like, she's been like lied to by society and she's unfulfilled, and she knows that there's something else there, that there's like a job, like she can do her own thing and create her own business, and like, what are the things that she really wants? Wants to have that like the power, the freedom, the status, like those things. So I guess as far as telling that story, really get into the head of this person, of your person. What are they doing in day-to-day life? Are they a dad in their mid-40s who has kids that maybe don't respect them, and their wife doesn't really respect them, and they don't even really respect themselves, and they are afraid to go out and do things because they don't have this self-confidence? Like, tell them that, when you do this thing, you come to this program, to this workshop, you're going to learn tools so that when you come home, your kids are going to be jumping into your arms because they're so excited to see you. Or your wife is going to be crazy about you and want to have sex with you again. And you're going to go walk into work, and people are going to be like, you're going to be the guy that people cheer when they see, instead of just kind of ignore. So who is that person? What are they actually going through in their life, and what are these basic human desires that they want? And get specific and paint that picture. It's the easiest to describe maybe, but it's the most difficult, and that's the thing I work on with people the most, is how to talk like that.
Is the goal ultimately transformation?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's helping people get what they want, what they really want. People are afraid. They're afraid to claim their right to life. They're afraid to take life and grasp it and love it. Afraid to really accept themselves and love themselves and feel like they can do the things that they want to do. So I think it's just about giving people the freedom and the permission to say, like, hey, I was where you are, and I know what life was like, but like, life can be like this, and it's great, and it's okay. Like, you have permission. This is the roadmap. You can do it. I'll help you.
Earlier, when we were talking about, when you were introducing what you do, you spoke about nurturing the people who you talk to, right? Nurturing them over time, and that's something that people don't really do well. From, in your estimation, how long should someone, your community, be nurtured before you make them an offer to do more, before you give them a serious call to action?
Well, I mean, the thing is, some people, everyone watching this, everyone now has some people that are ready to buy now, ready to buy in a month, and 6 months to a year. So really, there is no wrong time to have a call to action, because in this Story Leader Style post, like I described, I mean, it has everything that you need to connect emotionally and call someone to action in a way that's going to actually inspire them to want to just have a conversation with you. That's what we want. We want conversations. We want Zoom conversations. We want to talk to people. That's really our goal with social, is to get people off social and get them into something where we can make a personal, a deeper connection with them. So, but I mean, in general, I advise people to do something at least every other week, some kind of bigger thing, some kind of show. I mean, really right now, like what we're doing right now is what I recommend the most, is to have, so this is this idea of like content. Still there, Juma?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah.
Hey, man.
You there? Yeah, I guess you fell out a little bit. We're still here. You were talking about the idea of this particular type of content.
Yeah, content-based networking. So it's like we can even. So I mean, and this like big idea was based off this book that I just read. I'm sure I'm going to post about it really soon. But I mean, this kind of content is the best kind of content. But you can take this really a far step. Like you can, if you're trying to target someone who's maybe like work with people who are difficult to get to, maybe they work in large organizations, $100 million kinds of organizations, and you're trying to work with them, why not create a show that is centered around your niche, centered around your target? Create a show and then invite the decision makers of these companies you want to work with onto your show, have a discussion with them, and then just have a conversation. And then in that time, it's like, so there's this mutually beneficial content creation thing happening where they're getting value because, people love to speak about themselves. They love to speak about their niche. And at the same time, you are creating content, you're talking about what you do and how you help people, and all these things come together. And then you, especially for these bigger companies, you're not just going to DM pitch slap them, right? You're not going to do that. You're going to do something mutually beneficial. And so I recommend that people do things like this, have these kinds of shows, have these kinds of discussions, because not only is it like a ton of fun, get into the flow, video of the future, you do this, not just the future, it's the now, it's the future, video, VR, AR, visual, audio. Like if you can get good on video, you're way ahead of everyone else. Not only that, we take this, transcribe it, cut it up into quotes, cut it up into clips, thumbnails, all of these things. So you can make a show like this. It just sharpens your skills. It allows you to articulate what you do, how you do it, lets people see you. So do something like this at least every other week. Invite people on. You're going to learn a ton. If you want, you can even target target who you actually want to work with. But if not, just industry peers, make connections. Or, what I did, just as a final part on this, for a long time, I was taking coaches onto my show. Coaches who were just getting started, who really were just craving a voice. They just wanted to be on live. They wanted to be on video, because part of what I do is help people get on video and speak. So I'm like, let's go, get on my show. A lot of those people became my clients, became friends, clients, and people that are still clients to this day because of this show I created.
Oh, that's cool. And I think that's very good for people who are just starting off, being able to have a platform where, because one of the biggest fears people have is actually appearing on camera by themselves, and it's even worse when it's live. And a good way to mitigate that fear, or to help reduce the amount of fallout from that, is to be able to do it with someone else. And having someone having a discussion, it really takes away the trepidation of having to face the camera and face what they feel like are the eyes upon them. But of course, the community generally supports. The community is not judging anybody, because people are at different levels, at different places, and people accept that this may not be something that you're accustomed to, and you're able to then actually turn what is a disadvantage into an advantage, at least for a period of time, until you really get your legs and you're able to communicate in that context a little better, like live or even creating your own videos. And for me, that's been a big thing with people who we have spoken to about creating videos and things like that. So that is a massive thing. So talk a little bit about your service of helping organizations launch events and products through content and social.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it can get complicated, but in general, it should be basic. It's just, you should have something that you're continuously launching again and again. It should be a workshop that you have every 2 weeks. You should, probably if you're a coach, you have a program, and maybe you have a new program that comes out every couple months, that comes out every month, or maybe you're just advertising one particular pillar of your program in a span of a month. But kind of the idea is that we're just always bringing people to the next step. Like, we're always launching. We're not just silo, just content. It's like, yeah, we're putting out value and giving people really good information and making them feel good and educating them. But we're saying, like, they know to expect the next step from us, and we're consistent in our next step. So that maybe it's not this time they go to the workshop where they're actually face to face with you, and they're with a community of other people that they can relate to and emotionally connect to, and where they have the opportunity to ask you questions face to face, and you have the opportunity to follow up with them, to give them more value, to give them something, to get on a call with them. Maybe it's not this time, but they know that you do it every week. They know that you do it every other week. They know that you have a new part of your program that comes out every month, or you're remixing, or you're addressing a different part of it. So in just being consistent in launching new things and creating content strategically that builds up to it, that's, letting people know this thing is coming up, and you're talking about the different aspects of this thing that's coming up, and you're addressing objections in people's minds, not only about the product or about the thing, but about actually working with you, addressing those objections too in your content. So that by the time that thing comes out, there are people that are already raising their hands to say yes, to want to do that thing. So it's just this way. I mean, it's a natural, obvious way, like, see it a lot, but I think the more you can get into that, the more you can be consistent in a launch, in a kind of launch release phase. It seems like the most lucrative thing. Like, when you have an audience that loves you, that loves what you put out, that follows you, that sees you as their go-to, you as their person, and then everything that you put out, they're going to buy because they know to expect it and because they love you for what you do.
Right. Beautiful. So you're gonna be able to essentially cause the community, or have the community that supports you as you continually put yourself in front of them and share with them over a period of time. And you're going to build that relationship ultimately through your content, which is something I'm big on, building relationship. I think the purpose of content is to build relationship. That's just like a core thing that we believe across here at Relate. So it's
isn't your company called Relate or something like that? Something relationships.
Yeah, it's Relate. Yeah, that's what it's called. And we believe that. We believe.
I was just kidding.
No. Listen.
I know your company is Relate.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. You got me there. And so So that's a big thing for us on this side. All right, so let's jump into, let's bring this part of the discussion to a close, and let's jump into the segment that people really love so much, called Agree, Disagree. I wasn't going to have it this week, but I just have like 5 questions to ask RC. What does RC stand for? That's not one of the questions. Do you share that with people, or that's just like that's a secret?
Yeah, no, it stands for really cool.
For real? Come on.
No.
Yeah. You don't have to share.
Clark. Ryan Clark.
Okay, all right. You didn't have to share it if you didn't want to. I mean, but my wife, she works in education, and she sees weird names all the time, and we've come across people with their name is literally Happy Birthday, like literally. So when you tell me really cool, I am not doubting you for 1 second. Because where the things have turned up, people have had some weird name. Well, I wouldn't call that weird. I just call it unique.
Hey, happy birthday! How's it going? Hey, happy birthday! Happy birthday! thing.
I'm sure I'm sure that person, I think it was a girl, I'm sure she's gotten that a million times. All right, let's jump into the other segment called Agree, Disagree. All right, so this segment is called Agree, Disagree. It's me asking you, RC, I'm not asking, but giving you some statements, and you can say if you agree or disagree. Now, these statements are not reflective of whether I agree or disagree with them. They're just general statements, and you can say yay or nay, and if you want to add to the explanation, you can add to the explanation. It's just 5 this week. Normally I have more than this, but we're trying to keep it light this week. And this is one I ask everyone. Agree, disagree. Passion before skill.
Agree. Absolutely. You can't just build a skill you don't care about. You have to have some passion, and then you develop the skill for that passion.
All right, nice. By the way, people are split on that. That's been split.
Really?
Yeah, that has been split.
I'm an emotional person with passion.
Yeah, you lean more into that side. Agree, disagree. Virality is relative.
Agree. I say viral content coach. I don't mean you make a post and you get 100 million views for one post. Virality is like community virality. That every time you put something out and your whole community, it goes viral within them every time. And that can be a small group. It can be a big group. But in general, sure, viral for one post is fine. But let's go viral. Let's viralate your community again and again.
Did you just make a word up? Can we use that now? Virulate.
Virulate. I think so.
Virulate sounds much better than virulate.
Let's call Oxford Dictionary after this. See what they say.
Yeah. Virulate sounds like too sciencey. Virulate sounds cool.
Yeah.
All right. So next, agree, disagree. Productivity can depend heavily on your environment.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. My God. Especially me. I'm a very my brain, it goes in circles. So I'm a very trying to do a million things at once, and I go around and around and around. The more organized I can be, the better. I mean, if you're in a negative environment, say your family hates what you do, they don't support you as an entrepreneur, you can't be productive. I live in Rio de Janeiro, and the beach is 5 minutes walk from my house, and that's affected my productivity a little bit. So yes, I absolutely agree.
All right, great. Okay, so next one. Hurasco over a July 4th backyard barbecue.
This is tough because I'm American and Brazilian. So it's I love 4th of July backyard barbecue. I love the hot dogs, hamburgers, and in America and all of those things. But churrasco is just something else. The culture is different. The meat is different. Okay, churrasco over. Right now, I'm going to say agree. I'm going to say agree, yes, right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to. You live there right now. Somebody might see this and might,
Right, yeah. My new friends, what are they going to think?
Yeah, what are they going to think about you?
Go back to America, loser.
Yeah. July the 4th. All right. And the very last one is, on social media, you grow more from doing rather than consuming.
Yeah. I mean, it depends who you are. If I'm a business owner, I'm going to grow more from doing. Honestly, I could use social media. I could not look at anybody's posts, and I could grow using social media. But if I'm more of trying to learn, I don't have to do much. I can still consume. I can consume and I can learn. But whatever. Everything happens from doing. Life is doing. Life is action. Yeah, you can consume, but if you don't do, nothing happens. So agree on the doing.
All right, excellent. And that brings us to the end of Agree, Disagree. Thank you so much, RC, for your feedback on that and for sharing with people whether you agree or disagree with things. And hopefully nobody, hopefully your American family was not offended by your choice of Brazilian food. And do you have any last words to share with people before we bring everything in for our landing?
Yeah, I'm not sure, man, but honestly, I just want to say thanks to you. Again, I think I said in the beginning, I've been loving your content. I've been following you for a while now. I love seeing your videos. I love how they're bam, 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 like just gives the value right away. I love your passion. I love how you're just authentic and real, and you show the love. And I love how like damn good your video looks and your background and all this stuff. So, this was last minute, but I really appreciate you accepting me and bringing me on here. It's been a lot of fun.
No problem, man. Thank you for turning up and being brave enough to say, yeah, I want to do that. Because sometimes people may have it in their mind and they think for some reason that, it might not work out. I mean, sometimes you just got to ask or say me, yeah, and it will work out. We never know about these things. But thanks so much for coming on such short notice and for being up so late in the night time. Now it's 16 past 11 where you are. So thank you for being up for that. Before we go, I want to share this with everyone. You can get RC on LinkedIn at RC Clark 4, and on Facebook at the same kind of Facebook.com, RC Clark 4. And on Instagram, you can get him at RC Clark and an underscore, which I almost missed, but there's an underscore there, which you will see some interesting content from him on Instagram, which I checked out.
Nice.
And so on. So thanks so much, everybody, for being on today. Thanks to the Useful Content community for turning up. This was kind of a different show, a little more practical, a little more stripped down, but we were happy to have it nonetheless. And I'll see you guys on the platform and next week for the next show. Bye, everyone.